Hello and welcome to Chuck's Diecast Car and Model Reviews. Today we're going to be taking a look at this car. This is, well, basically Ferrari's latest hypercar. This is the Ferrari SF90. This particular model is made by Maisto and is in 1/18 scale. It is actually a pretty good model, and I do recommend it. It is fairly nicely done for its price range. So for those of you who don't know much about the SF90, as I said, it is Ferrari's latest hypercar. It is a very elegant looking car. It's not striking. It's not jump out and grab you sort of looks like say a Ferrari LaFerrari or an Enzo. At the same time, it is also not a limited edition car. Enzos and LaFerraris and F50s and so on, those were all limited edition cars. There is no production limit on this particular car, so if you've got $500,000 to spare, you can go around to the Ferrari dealer and get on their waiting list, which I'm sure is at least a couple of years, and get yourself one of these. In fact, I was at the Ferrari dealer a few months back, and there was an SF90 for sale, but it did not have a sold sign on it. It basically said, hold this car, this sign, because in talking with the dealer, the owner of this car, and this was an SF90 coupe, he heard that the Spider was coming out, which is this particular car. Notice no roof there. So he said, well, I don't want a coupe, I want a Spider. And I don't even know if he'd even driven the coupe. But what he did was he said, I want you to go ahead and have you sell this car for me, and I'll get a Spider. So the Ferrari dealership agreed to do so. However, he, in order to remain in good standing with the Ferrari company itself, he had to, this was in the summer of last year, he wasn't allowed to sell it until like the end of the year, basically. So the dealership found somebody to buy it for him, or from him, I should say, but they couldn't actually sell it to him until later on in the year. The annoying thing about it is that these cars are in such demand that the original buyer of the car sold it to the new owner for $100,000 more than he paid for it. So not only was he getting himself a new SF90, at a Ferrari cost, but he was also making money off of selling the coupe. Anyway, let's go ahead and talk about the car itself here, okay? Now, maybe some of you don't consider it a hypercar, but I would say that having 1,000 horsepower makes it a hypercar. It has a 4-liter twin turbocharged V8 that produces 770 horsepower. Plus, it has 3 electric motors, one each powering the front wheels, and then a third one that's sort of in between the engine and transmission to give it a little bit more oomph, for a total of 217 horsepower. So it's a shade under 1,000, but for all intents and purposes, it's 1,000 horsepower. Of course, has a top speed of over 200 miles an hour, and 0 to 60 time, I'm sure somewhere in the mid to upper 2-second category. So it'll definitely get you to the grocery store. However, you won't be able to haul too many groceries because it has a very tiny trunk, which I will show you later. Well, let's go ahead and take a look at this model here, okay? Now, first of all, take a look at that profile. It is a gorgeous car in profile. It's very striking. And, but again, not eye-catching or, you know, crazy looking like, say, an Enzo or something like that. It does have nice detail here in the wheels. Let me go ahead and see if I can get that focused here. Yeah, you can see the detail there on the calipers and the rotors. The rotors have a sort of a texture on them to make them look like the carbon ceramic, which they are. The rotors seem to be a little bit small, but I could be wrong on that. Personally, if I were to have one of these, I'd kind of have jazzier looking calipers. I'm sure you can get those from the factory painted in a better color, you know, a yellow or red or something like that. I'm sure at a absurdly high price too. So now taking a look at the tires there, notice no branding on the tires, which is a bit of a surprise. I mean, Ferrari does use Michelin Pilot Sports, I believe. This badge here is a sticker, as well as the badge on the front. Detail on the front is pretty good here. The headlights look nice. The mesh under the bumper is not true mesh, it is textured plastic, and it doesn't go all the way through, which is kind of to be expected on a car of this price range. And well, taking a look here under the hood, there it is, the giant trunk space there. Detail in there is pretty good though. You can see a bit of a carbon fiber texture, you know, some of the ancillaries there behind the trunk space, so on and so forth. So pretty good there. I mean, look at that. It does have carbon fiber texture right there, so that's good. Okay, the plastic for the windshield looks nice. As you can tell here, the paint looks very good as well. It's very, very flat. You know, not any orange peel or anything like that, as I've seen in older Maisto models. So it does look quite good there. Looking at the back here, you'll see the diffuser down there, also with carbon fiber texture, the dual exhaust, and the taillights. I'm not a big fan of those taillights. They're a little kind of boring looking to me. So some good detail there. Looking underneath, you can see there is some detail down here. It has a flat bottom, but it also has these turning vanes, as you can see here, which would probably get torn off as soon as you drive over any sort of a hump in the road, but they are there. Taking a look here, well, at the engine bay, there's really not a lot to see here. It's also hard to get to, so you have to use something like this toothpick to open it up. But there's not a lot to see because the engine is just way, way back there. Okay, you know, when I spoke with the Ferrari dealer about this car, he basically mentioned how Ferrari was doing as much as they could to get this engine lowered in the body as much as possible to improve handling, and, you know, by lowering the center of gravity, and they certainly did that. The engine looks like it's in a big hole back there, and it's way forward there as well. So I'm sure that improves the balance of the car too. By the way, this stuff here, those are in the real car actual perforations, but in the model they are not. Okay, this is a Spider, as I mentioned, and it actually does have a lifting tonneau cover, see? You can see there the retractable hardtop, which of course does not come out, so you can't put it on the car, but it is nice to have it there. Taking a look at the interior here. Let me go ahead and open the doors here too. Detail in here is pretty nice. You can see, that they have put details there on the steering wheel and the dash. Looks like that's climate control in the center part of the console there too. So that all looks pretty good. There is controls down on the center of the floor there, which is probably like the parking brake, maybe even the controls to put the vehicle in reverse, things like that. So pretty good there. The seats are fairly well detailed too, although notice it doesn't have any seat belts, which of course are required by law, and you probably wouldn't want to be driving this thing without your seat belts on anyway. So that is it for this model. As I said, it is a pretty good model, so I certainly can recommend it. I got this model over at Sam's Club, and I think I paid $17 or $18 for it, so I feel like I got a pretty good deal on that. So anyway, that is, as I said, it for today. I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, please go ahead and like and subscribe. Have a great day.